we go to the same school, we do all of the same classes, so like everything that she says is basically what I will say, but in a different way.
I would say hope is like continuing to try in hard times. It might not be like staying completely optimistic, being like, I don't know, naive, but just having the willpower to keep going. Maybe not optimism, but having like faith in yourself and the people around you and the circumstances around you to keep going.
I agree that it's like there's some bad like tied to it, like you're going through something bad and you have hope about the future, but like there's like a sense of joy going forward, of being like there's light at the end of the tunnel, there's something like forward for me to look forward to.
There was like a time in my life where I was going through something difficult where I like lost myself and I didn't even realize that I had. I think like there's a point I reached at least where it's like you're just going through the motions, you're doing what's expected of you without really like putting your consciousness into it, putting your like actually being connected to it, and then having people that are like my support system pull me out of that and like really have me connect back to myself is what led me more to hope. And I think it takes a certain amount of like willingness to actually look at the situation around you, and at least for me in that situation, and like coming to terms with everything and just knowing that you're gonna get through it and that you have to get through it and you have to be conscious of getting through it.
I can't specify a specific moment, but just any times that I think of like experiencing hope, it's like she's reading my mind when she says like a support system pulling you out of it, or like having some sort of like thought like of, oh, it's gonna get better, like there's not this is not forever, like something's gonna move forward, life moves on, that sort of thing.
I think with like our school and just like the way that we choose to spend our time, the things we choose to devote our time towards, it's really easy to get lost in like stress and anxiety and just like getting like drowning and everything going on. And so a big part of getting through for me has been like I said, like hope in the people around me, hope in like the work that I'm doing is going to pay off, and just finding like joy and encouragement and nourishment in the things I'm doing, even if they're adding on to the stressors of my life. And like finding little moments throughout my day or throughout the things that I have to do that encourage me to be hopeful about I'm actually doing something that has a purpose and makes a difference, and I can see it happening in others also.
I think like choosing joy every day and choosing happiness every day is a part of that. But like having to choose like, okay, like I know that I'm anxious right now, I know that I'm stressed right now, but like I know that tomorrow is a different day. Like there's hope in that, and being like, oh, like my stress from right now is not going to carry over into the next day or the next day. Or like even like in relationships too, like making sure that like I'm aware of my own stress and being like, okay, I'm hopeful that like it's not going to continue for the rest of my life. It's not going to continue into like my relationships. I think right now is a pretty hopeful time. I'm in college, I'm thinking about like all of the future that I have left, like what I want to do post grad, like my relationships right now, like thinking about like my family and how they're progressing, and also like me and my boyfriend's relationship and how it's progressing. So I think right now is probably like the most hopeful that I've been in life. So that's exciting. Yeah.
Right now, because of, like I said, like I feel recently I've been, like I said earlier, more connected with myself and more conscious of like what I deserve to get out of my time, from my responsibilities, from other people, and being more connected to myself and connected to what I know I want has led to a lot of like hope and joy for me, even though it's like a trying time to let go of things from my past. it's led to a lot of hope for like, I know I can take care of myself. I know I can handle what needs to be done. I would also say like the transition to college was like so strange and difficult, but it was also so hopeful of like, this is a lifestyle and a freedom that I've dreamed of having for so long. And it's scary and it's big and it's different, but I have hope in it and I have joy in it because I know it'll lead me to something bigger, and I know it's something that I looked forward to for so long, so I have to enjoy it.
Yeah, and also like right now, I think there's a sense of like clarity for like what's coming, and I think that's also a big part of like hope, where it's like there's a sense of like clarity and like knowing what's gonna come, but also not knowing. And I think that's something like beautiful about like life, is that like you just don't know what's coming, but I feel certain that the next day is gonna be good, or like the next year is gonna be good. I think in the past like year or so, I've like, it feels like my sense of hope has matured. Like as a kid, you think like, oh, like it seems like a lot more like frilly and like light, but now like a sense of hope for me is like solid. Like this is so like material, like but it feels solid. Yeah, it feels like grounding rather than like being in the air. It feels like I'm on the ground. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I think, like she said, like it's less of like a naive, I'm just gonna trust that everything's gonna be okay. It's more of like a, I know I'm gonna make everything okay. I know at the end of the day I have myself, and I know who I am. I know how I conduct myself, who I want to be, and I know how even if I don't know how I'm gonna get there, I know I'm gonna push myself through it. And it's also been like, when I was little, my sense of hope was really grounded in like other people, like, I don't know, validation from like authority figures and them telling me it's gonna be okay, so it's gonna be okay. Whereas like transitioning kind of into adulthood, it's like you have to be the one to tell yourself that everything's gonna be okay. You have to depend on yourself for hope. Like at a certain point, other people aren't gonna give it to you, and it's something that you have to find. So that's how it's changed for me.
Yeah, and I think it's like self-assuredness is I think a part of it, of like feeling grounded, is that like this past year, like she said, that transitioning from like high school to college, or like just like being like a kid to an adult, there's like, you have to have a sense of yourself. And I think that like these like couple of years of being a young adult is so formative in that, and that's why it changed from like being in the air to being on the ground. I think like my friends and family give me hope. The people that I choose to surround myself with give me hope.
I was literally gonna say the same thing. It's like I said, like I feel like I'm my main source of hope at this point in my life. Like I got tired of trying to seek it out in other people, like that assuredness. So I had to kind of like scrounge for it within myself. But also like, even in reducing the relationships or the experiences that I didn't want to have in life, having people that I knew were right for me, and experiences for myself that I knew aligned with who I wanted to be, like having hope in those people and in those things that really like resonated with me, is what gave me hope in trying times of I'm on the right path, or I'm starting to be on the right path, and I can lean into those things.
Yeah, everything like clicking together like a little puzzle is like, I think also what gives me hope too, because it's like right now it looks like you just like dumped a box of like puzzle pieces everywhere, but like slowly they're flipping over and making a picture right now.
That's beautiful.